demonstrating the poses. We'll begin with Nadi Shodhana, which is alternate nostril pranayama. Start by sitting comfortably, however you'd like. Feel free to use a cushion or a blanket to sit up on. Then bring your left hand back into your hip crease, thumb and index finger touch. This is Jnana Mudra. The right hand, Vishnu Mudra. Curl down your first two fingers into your palm. Use your thumb to close the right nostril, just at the bridge of your nose, kind of in the middle. Then inhale through only the left side. At the top of your inhale, use your ring finger to close the left nostril, and switch, exhale to the right. Inhale through the right, same side. At the top, switch. With your exhale, go back to the left. Again, inhale gently through the same. Wait for your exhale to switch, go back to the other side. Inhale through the same. Exhale and switch, go to the other. And continue. Inhaling always through the same. And switching only with your exhales. Back and forth a few more rounds at your own pace. Remember, you're using your thumb for the right nostril and ring finger for the left. If you get a little off track or you lose focus, don't worry too much about making it perfect. Just go back to the left side and begin again. You're just moving the breath from one side to the other, alternating with each exhale. Begin to equalize your breath. Each inhale and exhale the same length and the same intensity. Relax your right shoulder a bit away from your ear. Pull the belly in and lift your heart up. Back and forth. Just one or two more rounds, no rush. And this will be the final exhale. And so once you've completed that breath out, you'll release both hands and breathe normally. We'll take a moment for intention or dedication of the work of your practice. Maybe setting an intention to remain focused or mindful. Maybe dedicating the work of your practice to someone who might need it. Then we begin together with an Om inhale. Let's get moving. We're going to roll forward to hands and knees, tabletop position. We're starting today with a little bit of a twist. This pose is called threading the needle. Nothing too fancy, but you're going to take your right arm, start with the left. Your right arm underneath yourself and lower your shoulder. Good, temple down if you can, but forehead if your neck feels funky. Walk the right arm forward if you're able. Good. Left arm if you're doing this at home. You want to take the right side under first, then left goes over your ear. Couple deep breaths. Try to feel your lung and roll that up toward the ceiling. Last little bit. If it does start to feel funky in your neck, try not to put any weight in your head and cervical spine. So you have to push down a little bit with your left hand so that you can stay lifted. All right, come on back up to center. First place the left, then lift up and place your right hand. Little pause, and then we just switch. Send the opposite arm underneath. Lower your shoulder, good, maybe your temple or forehead. The cervical spine is somewhat delicate, and so if it feels awkward or pinchy to put weight in your neck, don't do that, right? Observe and adjust the pose as needed. Couple deep breaths, try to roll your lung up toward the ceiling. And then to come out, Walk yourself back up to center. Place your hands one by one, lift your chest. Let's do a little bit of cat-cow, not too long, because we do have some work to do, so just spend about 3 breaths here. Inhaling to lower your belly, and exhaling to round your back and push the floor away from you. Again, inhale, lower your belly, lift your chin, squeeze the shoulder blades together. As you exhale, round your back and pull the shoulder blades apart. Maybe one last round with your own breath, back and forth. And after that, let's prepare for down dog. Go ahead and find a neutral position and then tuck your toes. Lift your knees, reach the hips up and back, downward facing Adho Mukha Svanasana. Take a few moments to pedal out your legs if you'd like. Maybe bend and straighten the knees. Perfect. One last breath in. Then on your exhale, bend your knees, look forward, pull your chest back. Inhale, bring the feet forward, step or hop or take a few steps. Lift your heart a little. Exhale and fold, touch your lungs to your quads, bend your knees as much as you need to make that happen. It's not just hamstrings, it's also spine, low back especially. And so notice how the back of your body feels. Now on your inhale, come all the way up, extend your arms, reach overhead, touch the palms. Exhale, come down to stand, Samastitihi. Surya Namaskar A. Inhale, reach up, arms extend. Exhale, hinge at your hip crease, fold firmly, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift. Exhale, place your hands, step or jump back, Chaturanga, low push-up position. Inhale, upward facing, lift up, press with your legs. Exhale, it's downward facing. Lift your hips, reach them up and back. Breathe, 4, 5, deep breaths. 4 breaths. Place your hands and feet symmetrically, equal distance from the edges of the mat. For 3, roll your shoulders down your back, away from your ears. 2 breaths. 1 final inhale. Then on your exhale, bend your knees, look forward. Inhale, step or hop to your hands. Lift your heart a little. Exhale and fold. Inhale, reach up the center line, touch the palms and look up. Exhale, return to stand. And we go again. Inhale to reach, extend your arms. Exhale, hinge at your hip crease and fold. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, lift your heart. Exhale, place your hands, go back, Chaturanga, low push-up. Really good. Inhale, upward facing, push with the tops of your feet. Exhale, lift up and back, it's downward facing. And we breathe here for 5. You want to use your legs. Throughout this practice of Surya Namaskar, they're always kind of working with you rather than just like there as placeholders. Last 4. In your down dog, squeeze your quads, the upper thighs, and keep your kneecaps lifting up. Last 3. Then lift Mula Bandha, the muscles of the pelvic floor. 4, 2, 1 breath. Then on your exhale, bend your knees, look forward. Inhale, step or hop to your hands. Lift your heart halfway up. Exhale and fold. Inhale, reach up the center line, touch the palms. Exhale, return, Samastitihi. 2 more. Inhale to reach, extend your arms. Exhale, hinge at your hip crease and fold. Inhale, lift your heart, look up. Exhale, place your hands, jump back, Chaturanga, low push-up. Good. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. 5 breaths. Settle in. Find symmetry, hands and feet placed right where you need them to be. For 4, keep the legs strong and active. Pick your hips up a lot. Last 3, pull your navel in toward your spine. 4, 2, 1 breath. Then on your exhale, bend your knees, look forward. Inhale, step or hop to your hands, lift your heart. Exhale, then fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, reach up the center line. Exhale, return to stand. Last one of A. Inhale to reach, extend your arms. Exhale, hinge at your hip crease, fold, squeeze the front body. Inhale, lift your heart, look up. Exhale, place your hands, go back, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog, lift up and back. Exhale, downward facing, lift your hips. Breathe for 5. Looks great. Placing the hands and feet exactly where you need them to be, so you're conscious and aware of where the body is in space. Last 4. Pull your chest toward your thighs, but pull the belly in. For 3, deep breaths, and try to focus your eye gaze, your drishti. Last 2. 1 breath. Then on the exhale, bend your knees, look forward. Inhale, step or hop to your hands, lift your heart. Exhale and fold. Inhale, reach up, arms extend, look up. And exhale, return to stand, Samastitihi. Really good. Have you done lunging namaskar?
Once.
Okay, we're gonna work with lunging namaskar. So the original Surya Namaskar adds a little bit of a back bend. We'll do the first one kind of slow, and then we might move at about a medium clip, so a little bit faster, but always with breath. Okay, on your inhale, reach up and back, add a little back bend. Exhale, fold forward, hands to your mat, Uttanasana. Inhale, step your right foot all the way back, lower your knee and look up, just like crescent lunge. Exhale, place your hands, send your left foot back to meet the right, lower your knees, chest and chin, good. Inhale, cobra pose. Exhale, downward facing. Inhale, bring your right foot a big step forward, lower the back knee like crescent lunge. Exhale, bring the back foot all the way forward and fold, Uttanasana. Good. Inhale, reach up and back, add the back bend. And exhale, return to stand, Samastitihi. Okay, left side. Inhale, reach up and back, little back bend. Exhale, then fold forward. Inhale, step the left foot back, lower your knee, look up. Exhale, send the right foot back to meet it. Go to down dog first. So come all the way up, downward facing. Then lower your knees first, like child's pose. Now lower your chest down, and then chin. That's it. Inhale, cobra pose, lift your heart. Good. Exhale, downward facing, lift your hips. It's the inhale, bring your left foot a big step forward, crescent lunge. Exhale, right foot a big step forward, fold. Inhale, reach up and back, add the back bend. And exhale, return to stand. Good work. 2 more. Inhale, reach up and back, little faster. Exhale, then fold forward. Inhale, step your right foot back, lower your knee, look up. Exhale, send your left foot back, downward facing first, lower your knees to begin, then lower your chest. From there, lower your chin. Good. Inhale, cobra pose, lift your heart. Exhale, downward facing, lift your hips. Inhale, bring the right foot a big step forward, crescent lunge. Exhale, it's the left foot forward, fold, big step to the top. Inhale, reach up and back, add the back bend. And exhale, return to stand, Samastitihi. Last one, left side. Inhale, reach up and back, as little or as much as you'd like. Exhale, fold, place your hands. Inhale, step your left foot back, crescent lunge, lower your knee. Exhale, send your right foot back to meet it, knees, chest, chin. So pretend you're going to down dog, lower your knees first, like child's pose, then lower your chest and your chin. Good, inhale, cobra pose, lift your heart. Exhale, downward facing, lift your hips. Inhale, bring your left foot a big step forward, lower the back knee. Exhale, it's the right foot forward, fold. Inhale, reach up and back, add the back bend. Exhale and return to stand, Samastitihi. And done. Take a second to readjust a little bit if you need. You might shake your legs or maybe fix your shirt. Now we're gonna do 2 forward bends. First, bring your hands behind you and interlace your fingers. On your inhale, lift your heart up a little, roll the shoulders back. It's your exhale, fold, bend your knees a lot, and put your chest on your thighs. Good, pull your hands away from your low back, breathe for 5. Send the hips a little forward, then press down with your toes to help catch yourself for 4. 4, 3. Last 2. 1. Inhale, little lift. Pick up your heart just a bit. Then bring your hands back to your lower back. Then we're gonna switch the grip. So release the fingers, slide every finger forward once so the opposite hand is leading. Inhale, pick your heart up a little. Exhale and fold forward. Good, bend your knees as much as you need. Touch your chest to your thighs. Breathe for 5. Try to pull your hands away from your lower back for 4. Your palms don't have to touch. If you need, separate the palms. Last couple. Breathing for 2. And 1. On your own exhale, gently lower your hands down to your mat. Pick up your heart just a little, take a second. Now we're gonna bring your left foot all the way back for high lunge on the right. So left toes go back, but tuck your toes and pick up your heel, then start to make your way up. You wanna keep the back foot flexed and the left kneecap lifted. You might keep your hands at your thigh. If that goes okay, hands catch the waist. And if that's still easy, hands at your heart. 5 breaths. Maybe you're ready to reach up, in that case, extend your arms. For 4. If your shoulders are tight, hook your thumbs. If it's okay, interlace your fingers. If it's really easy, touch the palms or cross the wrists, palms together. Biceps back behind your ears, 3 breaths left. Pull your right hip backwards in space, left hip forward. For 2, draw your tailbone down, pull your navel in. 1 breath. And then on your exhale, let's twist to the right. Send the left arm across, stack your right hand on top. 5 deep breaths. Looks so good. Pick up the back of the left knee again. For 4, if you want to try the extension here, put your left fingertips on the mat outside your foot, then reach the right arm up. Last 3. Good, keep picking up the back of the left knee, that's it. For 2, roll your heart to the ceiling. And 1, exhale and look down. Place your hands to frame your foot. Lower your back knee, crescent lunge. On Vinyasa, this is the back bend. Similar to what you did in Surya Namaskar, except here we'll hold and come up as high as you're able. Maybe you go hands to your leg or your heart. If you're ready, reach up and back. 5 breaths. If you have a strap at home, feel free to use your strap for the full bind to pull your back foot in. We're not using a strap here today, but you could, if you don't have a strap, pull your back foot in, first by picking up your foot and flexing it. Then reach both hands back, hold the outside of your ankle. So arms by your sides first. Good. Then reach back with your thumbs pointing down and bring the foot in. That's it. You made it. Good. Okay. Take 2 more breaths. Keep lifting your heart up. Last one. Then on your exhale, place your hands, tuck your back toes, pick up your knee, and step back. Take Vinyasa or take little rest if you need a second. Good. Move with your breath. We meet in down dog. Left side. Let's bring the left foot a big step forward for high lunge. Keep your back toes tucked under and your heel lifted so your foot is flexed. Climb yourself up, or if you're ready, reach up. 5 breaths. For 4, draw the tailbone down, pull your navel in. For 3, pull your hips counterclockwise. Left hip back, right hip forward. Last 2. Pull the biceps back, straighten your elbows. 1 breath. And then on your exhale, let's twist. We'll twist to your left. Send the right arm over, stack the left hand on top. Then look at your thumbs, push down with your top hand, pick your heart over your thumbs. Last 4. If you tried the extension, try it here too. Right hand to your mat, left arm up, but make sure that you're going all the way across your leg. Last 3. You've got it, looks really good. Marissa's doing a good job of taking her hand outside of her leg rather than inside. Last 2, feel your left lung, pick that up a lot, really good. 1 breath. And then on your exhale, look down, return to center. Anjaneyasana, crescent lunge, lower your back knee, set up for the back bend. Send your left knee forward a lot over your toes, 5 breaths. Let your right hip sink down and forward. If you're ready, hands at your heart or reach up and back. Last 4. Maybe you have a strap for the full bind, or if you'd like, pull your back foot in with both hands reaching behind you. So thumbs pointing down, you pull one, yep, exactly. Good, squeeze your hamstring a little, that'll help. That's it. Breathe for 2. Good. And 1. Now to come out, place your hands, tuck the back toes, and then step back. You can take Vinyasa here or a little bit of a rest. If you need a second, that would be okay. Good, couple of deep breaths. Very nice work. Okay, from downward facing, we're gonna bring the right foot a big step forward, and then you can do your left foot. Your right foot a big step forward, and then turn sideways on your mat. We're gonna do Prasarita Padottanasana, and change it up a little bit after the first one. Let this first one just be like kind of nice. You can choose your hand variation. We are gonna do Yogi toe lock, and you could pick your favorite if you know and love wide leg forward bend, and there's ones you wanna do like hands on the floor or even holding your feet, you can go there. But start by catching your waist. So place your hands on your hips, then inhale, lift your heart up. On your exhale, fold forward. We're gonna catch the big toes. Use your peace fingers, hook your big toes. Then inhale, lift your heart, lengthen your spine. Exhale, fold, drop your head toward your mat. Breathe for 5. Bend your elbows, pull them up toward the ceiling. For 4. What in the world? For 3. Last 2, like, are they on the window or is it just me? And 1. All right, on your inhale, lift your heart, come halfway up. Exhale, pause, release your toe lock. If you've got it, put your hands right under your eye gaze. We're gonna work on Ardha Malasana next, which is a half squat. And so turn your right toes out toward like the top right corner of your mat. That's it, so the toes are just pointing outward a little. Now start to bend your right knee in the direction your toes are pointing, but don't let your right heel pop up. Keep pulling your hips over, a little more, a little more. Now point your left toes up toward the ceiling. Good, if you can, come all the way down. Breathe for 5. So essentially, the right leg is Marichyasana, and the left is going out. Last 4. Again, pick up your heart a little. If you know the bind around your right leg, take that. Last 3. That's good. For 2. And 1. Come on back to center. Walk yourself back to the middle of your mat. Take a second, little pause. And then we are just gonna switch. So turn the left toes outward and start to bend your knee. Pull that in the direction that your left toes are pointing. Point your right foot up towards the ceiling. Good, breathe for 5. If you don't need your hands to balance, put your hands at your heart or bind around the left leg. Good, for 4. Keep picking up your heart. Good, that's it. For 3. Last 2. and 1. Okay, to come out, walk yourself back up to center, and then take a little fold right in the middle. Give that not too long, just a breath or two to help you neutralize that pose. Now we're gonna walk your hands forward toward the top of your mat. So just go that way. Good, walk your hands forward, spin your back heel up and step back. Send both feet together, take a vinyasa or give yourself a moment if you need it. Good, I like the vinyasa after, up dog's pretty nice. Good, then you're gonna stretch out and hold downward facing. Now we're working a little bit in the front of the body next, so go ahead and lower your knees to a tabletop position. We're gonna do Anahatasana, so keeping your hips stacked over your shoulders, walk your hands forward, lower your chest towards your mat. Lower your chin too if you can, but if that bothers you, maybe put the top of your head on the floor, like forehead on the floor. Breathe for 5. Heart sinking down toward the mat. For 4. Last 3 breaths. 4, 2. And 1. As you inhale, walk yourself back up gently and easily. Let's meet up in down dog and then we're gonna come through to seated. And this will come in handy later on. So step or hop through, have a seat, and extend your legs straight out in front of you. That's it. Now we're gonna work with Paschimottanasana, a seated forward bend. We'll do position A. If you know and love other ones, you can do those too, but we're doing toe lock. So Marissa's going to hook her big toes with peace fingers, then inhale, sit up a little, exhale and fold. She does a really great job of keeping her lungs and quads together. She's bending her knees to make that happen, and then keeping her back nice and straight. So that the tailbone's kind of tucking under a little bit, but there's no like roundness or compression in the upper back. This area actually has a little bit of a back bend to it. 3 breaths left. Last 2. And 1. On your inhale, come on up, release the fold, come back up to seated. Let's work with Triamukha Ekapada Paschimottanasana next. So if you have a block, grab that. You can use one, Marissa, here, grab a block to sit on. If you don't have a block, but you have like a hard back book, you might use something like that, or even roll up a towel and stick that under your sit bones. Okay, right side, bend your right knee, then rotate it down. We want the inner thighs to roll in towards each other and touch. And then if you feel yourself falling to your left, grab your block, pick up your seat, put the block under, or whatever object you've got close. Okay, you're going to take a breath in, sit up tall, and as you exhale, hinge from the crease of your hips, fold forward. Good, breathing for 5. For 4. Three. And 1. On your inhale, come on up. Let's lift your chest and keep the shape of your legs. We're gonna recline those, so you might scoot your block out of the way. You can slide that over to one side. Good. If you need the block, it's okay to keep it. If your knee is hurting, then keep the block. Otherwise, no block. Walk your hands back behind you. Good. Lift your heart up, add a little back bend. If that goes okay, put your forearms on the floor. That's it. If that's still fine, you can go shoulders down to the mat, but this is a really great place to stay as well. Breathe for 5. Oh, it's so beautiful. For 4.
What if the knee lifts up?
Oh, great question. Marissa asked, what if your knee lifts up? That's okay. When you're going back, you're adding a back bend in the lumbar area, and so if your knee pops up, it's okay. You don't have to force it down. It's also okay if your knees separate a little bit. In the forward bend, we want the legs together. Here, it's okay to give yourself space. Now, if you want, you can kind of add depth by putting your left foot on the floor like a Vinyasa shape. Why don't you try that, see how that goes? Or even drop it out and put your foot in half lotus. We're gonna stay here. I think this is a nice place for you. Feel okay?
Yeah.
Just one more breath. And then to come out, place your hands, press down, and walk yourself back up. You're gonna lift the chest, return to seated, but we're actually adding a twist. So if you can, keep the shape of your right leg. If it's bothering you, just take that straight out in front of you. Yep, if you need to, that would be okay. Then, so if you've got your leg back, you're gonna hold that. If you don't, that's okay too, but we're gonna add your left leg. It's okay to go back?
Yeah.
All right, so bend your left knee, then drop that out to the side so your heel's touching its own inner thigh. If you have a really easy half lotus, take your half lotus with your left side. Then we twist left. Right hand to your left knee, and left hand all the way behind you. Look over your back shoulder, breathe for 5. You're doing it right, you got it. For 4, if you have your left foot in lotus, you can take a bind, left hand holds the left foot. 3 breaths left. Last 2. And 1. On your exhale, gently return to center, release that, and come on out. You can let your legs go. Release the right leg gently. It's been there a while, so take a second if you need. Then Vinyasa or a little rest. If you need rest, especially if your knee joint is bothering you, that's okay. Take a second. If you're able, if you have energy and feel good, take the Vinyasa. If you're like in your head and telling yourself why you can't take the Vinyasa, maybe you should just do it, right? Okay, come on back through, have a seat. Step, step, or hop, extend your legs. Tearing Mukha Ekapada Paschimottanasana, left. Grab a block or a book or a towel, something to sit on. Now, we're gonna rotate the left leg all the way back this time. Bend your knee. There's an internal rotation with your thighs. See if you can get the thighs to touch each other. Now grab your object, pick up your hips, slide it under your right sit bone. Beautiful. Take a deep breath in, sit up tall. Exhale and fold forward. If you don't have a prop at home and this is painful for your knee, instead of rotating your calf muscle out, then sit on your heel instead. Breathe for 4. If you are doing the full variation, you want to be able to roll your calf muscle out of the way. So actually your shin is kind of outside your thigh. Last 3. 4, 2. And 1. On your inhale, come on up, lift your chest. Scoot your prop out of the way if you've got it. Remember, if necessary, you can keep the prop, but if you're able, slide that away, walk your hands back, lift your heart up. If that's okay, put your forearms down. Good, and if that's still fine, you put your shoulders down. Breathe for 5. For 4, don't worry if your left knee pops up, just let it be. Also, if your lower back pops up off the floor, you don't have to correct that. Now, if you try it on the other side, bring your right foot in, put your foot on the mat. Only about 2-ish breaths left. One breath. Then, nice and easy, start to make your way back up to seated. For our final posture here, it's a twist. So you can take the right leg straight. You can also take your left leg out if you need a moment, or if there's pain in your knee joint, straighten your leg, that'll be okay too. Now let's add the right. Bend your right knee, drop it out to the side, heel to inner thigh, or half lotus. Now we're twisting right. Good, left hand, right knee, right hand behind you. Breathe for 5. Last 3. 2 breaths. And 1. As you exhale, come on back to center and release your twist. Then let your legs go. Come on out of the pose, Vinyasa, or take a moment if you need a moment of rest. Give yourself a couple breaths wherever you're at. We are going to come back down to seated, and we're actually doing 2 poses symmetrically, so basically a static pose, one then the other. Go ahead and come on down, take a seat. We're going to do first Baddha Konasana, bottoms of your feet together, knees out to the sides. Feel free to sit on a blanket or maybe use a block in front of you. You're gonna place your thumbs on the arches of your feet and then roll your arches out. Then elbows on your calves, press your knees away from you, fold forward. If that's too intense and pushing on your knees like sparks pain or tenderness anywhere, it's okay to back off. But for yoga practitioners like Marissa and myself, we have to work a little harder at opening the hips externally because that's a really tough rotation. Whereas you and I both can do Tearing Mukha kind of easily, right? The leg rotates inward more naturally. External, a little bit harder. And so whoever you are, wherever you are, you'll probably find that one of those 2 shapes is easier to make. And that's not a bad thing. Doesn't mean that you're broken or not good at yoga or whatever, but it does mean that that's the way your body moves naturally by itself. And so now you know how to work toward bringing yourself to balance. If external rotation is really, really hard for you, do that. If internal rotation is really hard for you, we'll do that. We don't just do the things that we like and are good at or the things that feel good. We're trying to be well-rounded in the practice and in our lives. Okay, come on up, lift your chest, guide your legs back in towards each other. You can move a little bit if you need. You can rock side to side some. Just give that a sec. We're gonna do frog pose next, which is a longer hold and it's also a deeper hip rotation involving the inner thighs. I really like it. It's super beneficial if you are tighter in this way. And it gives you a little bit of a back bend, so that can be great. All right, Marissa is you can stay sideways just like you are. We're gonna roll forward to hands and knees to start. If you have a blanket, put a blanket under your knees. If you have a bolster, get that for under your chest. You don't have to use props here, but if you have them close by, they can support you, and that's nice. I think we're just gonna use a block. So start to walk your knees away from each other, slide them as wide as they'll go. We might even use 2 blocks, depending how Marissa's feeling. Good. Now slide your knees as wide as you can away from each other, but take your feet with you. So you want your feet, your ankles, perfectly placed underneath your knee joint. Marissa's doing a really good job with that here. She's got her ankle, knees lined up. Now you can go down to your forearms on the floor if you'd like to. Good. You can also go down to your chest on the floor or chest on a bolster. This is a good place to be, so we're gonna stay here. We're not really using any props. That can be tough, but sometimes the struggle is worth it. Good, we're just holding 1 minute, so 10 breaths. Feel okay? Mm-hmm. Good. You're a trooper. This is a hard pose. Settle in. If it gets easier with time, if your edge shifts, then go deeper. Scoot your knees further away from each other. Breaths. Last 3. Yourself back up, lift your chest first, then guide your legs back in towards each other second. Maybe you go to child's pose, or you might take downward facing dog instead. I kind of like child's pose after frog pose. It's intense, and so I always have to rest for a second before coming out. Hope that went well. Frog pose is super helpful. If you know you have tighter hips, add that into your home practice. Do it before you practice, maybe after as well, and just see if you start to notice a difference. Okay, let's go forward and go to downward facing. So go ahead and walk yourself forward, then tuck your toes, pick up your hips, stretch out. Beautiful. We're gonna come forward to a high push-up position. Take a deep breath in, then on your exhale, lower all the way down to your belly and rest your cheek or rest your forehead. Take a moment. We're gonna work next with a couple back bends. We're doing Vinyasa bow pose. So start by coming up to your forearms. Shoulder should be over your elbow, so the fingertips face forward. Good. Now we're just doing this place to start. So roll your shoulders back, spread your collarbones wide, press with your hands and your forearms, lift your heart. Breathe for 5. It's okay if this is enough, but if you'd like, pick up your elbows. For 4. If your elbows are lifted, try to keep like your pubic bone, your hip bone on the floor. For 3, 2, and 1. Exhale, come on down. Drop your head, or if you want, you can go all the way down to your belly and rest in between. We are going to do a few of these, and so if you need a little break, just put your head down. Okay, now the second one, we're going to reach back and hold the right foot, and so come on back up to your forearms, lift your chest. Beautiful. Now bend your right knee, but flex your foot so the sole of your foot faces the ceiling. Now keep that foot flexed, but reach your right hand back with your thumb pointing down and hold the outside of your ankle. There you go, you made it. Now flex your foot again and kick your toes back towards the wall behind you. If you want, straighten your left arm, lift up a little higher. Great, breathe for 4, 3, 1 breath. Then on your exhale, release your leg, place your right arm and lower down. Good, take a second little rest. You could put your forehead on your hands, go all the way down to your belly if you need. And then we're just gonna do your left side. After a short rest, come on back up, then bend your left knee and flex your foot. This is Vinyasa, it's bow pose, and it's a special variation. There are other ones where you pick your legs up off the floor. Here you want your thigh to stay down. Okay, when you're ready, send your left hand back, thumb pointing down, hold the outside of your ankle, kick your toes back. Good, if this contact doesn't happen, it's okay to use a strap or towel, but the thing is you don't really wanna like bend your elbow and pull. You wanna kick your toes backwards. If it's going okay, straighten your right arm. That's it. Now, on your next exhale, you're gonna release that. Let the left arm go and come on down. Go all the way down to your belly this time. Rest your forehead or your cheek. Take a few breaths to chill, giving yourself just a moment. Now we're gonna do one final one. And you can, bear with me here. We're gonna use a prop. Marissa and I have a yoga blanket. If you have one too, great. If not, grab a beach towel or like a blanket from your couch and roll that up like a burrito. So basically, you gotta roll up the blanket a few times until it's nice and compact and it makes this longer shape. The blanket goes right between your navel and your hip bone, so somewhere in there. Okay, come on up, slide the blanket under. Good. You may have to move around and figure out where the best placement of the blanket is for you. It does depend on the length of your torso. Now we're using the blanket because Marissa and I are gonna do both legs up and reach back, maybe hold both feet. Now, if that's not okay for you at home, you can do your tighter side again, repeat the one that felt tighter in your shoulder or your quad, or you can take a few breaths to rest if you're tapped out on back bending. Otherwise, bend both knees. Come on up, flex your feet. Now, start to push down with your hips, pick up your arms, send your arms behind you. Good, pull your heels in, grab the ankles, then kick your toes back again, and breathe for 5. So nicely done. Really use your legs to keep kicking back. You can even squeeze your glutes a little. 4 breaths left. Pick up your heart as high as you can. So good. For 3 deep breaths. For 2. And 1. Exhale, release gently. Come on down. And then child's pose or up dog to down dog. Whatever you need in between. Good, take a few moments. Really nice work. That went so good. You did a great job. You can if you have a friend, get them to pull on your low back a little, or make little fists and kind of massage up and down your spine. That can be really, really nice after back bends. Give yourself a few more moments, and then we're going to get upside down with an inversion. So headstand, shoulder stand, or legs up. You can do either of the 3. All of them are really valuable in their own way. Legs up is going to be the most supportive, but that doesn't make it a cop-out, and it doesn't make it easy by any means. Shoulder stand would be nice if back bending is super intense for you, or even if your hamstrings are really tight. Shoulder stand is a good way to kind of put your spine into flexion and to open up your hamstrings. Now, if you're not doing shoulder stand or legs up, it's headstand, Baddha-Sirsasana. What are you thinking?
I could do like headstand and then probably go into shoulder stand.
Okay, cool, great idea. We're gonna show headstand and for about a minute, and then shoulder stand for a little bit. Now, if you're at home and you're confused, try to pick one inversion and stick with that. But if you're practicing your headstand, like Marissa has been for a few months now, and you wanna come up, you wanna try to practice it every day if possible. And so anytime you're able in your practice, come up, stay for as long as you can, rest when you need, try again, or if you have to, then you switch your pose. Good. Great job. All right, we have 3 minutes for inversion. So once you're up, you're up. If you're working on headstand at home, you can use your wall. That would be okay too. The only thing about using a wall is that if you teach yourself to kick up to it, you're gonna have to like kick that habit and start not going quite all the way to the wall. When you come out from your headstand, you wanna try to do it slowly and with control. That's the safest way. And at first you don't have a ton of control over it, so don't freak out. It's a process of rough to refined. And within that process, just try to give yourself some grace. Work hard, right? Maintain discipline, but leave some space for compassion. All right, this is shoulder stand, Salamba Sarvangasana. She's sliding her hands to her lumbar spine and wiggling the elbows in toward each other. Looks great, good. If you're working with shoulder stand, feel free to add plow pose. Drop your toes towards the floor behind your head. Just a few breaths left. Now to come out. When you're ready, begin to release your pose gently. Make your way down and move right into a counter. We're gonna counter shoulder stand today with camel pose. You can also do full wheel, fish pose, or even cobra from the belly. We're gonna show camel. It's a really excellent way to counter shoulder stand because it offers a lot of openness in the throat and the front of your chest. So you'll come on up to a kneeling position, catch your waist, press the hips forward, lift your heart up, maybe drop your head back a bit, and breathe. Counter for maybe 5 breaths. Maybe one last breath, and then on your exhale, tuck your chin, pull your hands to your hips, then sit back. Let your head hang down, take a moment, and prepare for final rest, Shavasana, corpse pose. So just start to maybe do any final poses you still need. We're just gonna go down and let's do a little twist together. If you're working in another way at home, that's all right. Do your typical Shavasana routine. We're going to do a twist to the right and then to the left. And so just pull the knees in close to your chest. Good. Then drop them over to your right side. Extend your arms out. You could even bend your elbows and look over your left shoulder. Breathe for 5. And come on back to center. And switch your legs. Drop them to the left side. And then look over your right shoulder. Now, when you're ready, come on back to center. Return to neutral and prepare to be still for a little bit. Your final pose is Shavasana. It's corpse pose. And so you'll just start to make your way down to your back and grab any props that help you rest comfortably. You might use your blanket or towel, slide that under your knees. That's a good way to support your lower back. Some of us lay flat on the floor really comfortably, really easily. Some of us not so much. And so if it bothers your lumbar to lay flat, grab something substantial like a big blanket or a big pillow, put it under your knees, and that prop will help to kind of ease the strain in your lower back or ease pressure there. If you're feeling comfortable already, you can let your arms fall out at your sides, you can let your legs relax. Take a few deeper breaths into the body and let go of your practice. Let go of the burden of expectation. So just recognize you did the work, you showed up for yourself. Anything other than that can be left in the past. The benefit of the practice isn't in the result, it's the process, it's the path that you're on. All of the moments accumulated of you showing up for yourself to do the work. So let go of the result and then leave your body on its own. Let yourself feel heavy and relaxed and supported. Let the belly rise and fall. Your breath deepen and heart rate slow down. Soften or close your eyes. And for the next couple minutes, leaving the body on its own, allow yourself to rest easily, feeling peaceful and so content. yourselves gently to come out. Allow for some deeper breathing and subtle movement. And then when you're ready, you'll curl into yourself and roll over to rest on the right side. Spending a few breaths there to feel comfortable and supported by the body, the home in which you live, recognizing your spirit as the energy that animates it and connects you to all things. Eventually to come out, press down, return to a comfortable seat, keeping your eyes soft or closed. Take a moment to reaffirm your intention or dedication of the work of your practice. We'll close together with the Maha Mrityunjay mantra. If you know it, you can join in or join the parts you do know. We'll follow the mantra with one Om all together, so feel free to add your voice anytime. The mantra is that of a healing quality, and so it can be repeated in times of feeling anything less than peaceful. To begin, take a deep breath. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivarnam Urvarukamiva Bandhanam Mrityor Mukshiyamam Ritahatam. Take a breath for an Om. Thank you for practicing.